Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our special Awin Group Sector Insights webinar. During this webinar, I'll be asking a few of our agency partners to share their insights into this year's trends and events seen across the affiliate marketing industry, in addition to what predictions they have for the remainder of 2020 as we adjust to this new normal. For those who don't already know me, my name is Rachel, and I am the Head of Account Management for Awin in US and Canada, based out of Baltimore. Today, I actually have the pleasure of joining you from our recently reopened office, more specifically this cozy corner office that I've now claimed as my own. But if our new business director is watching, I can confirm that your plant has made it through the lockdown without an ounce of water over the last 3 months. And since I know that you haven't just joined today's webinar to listen to me, I'd like to briefly introduce today's panel and give more formal introductions before our discussion later in the webinar. Today, I'm joined by Sarah from All Inclusive Marketing, Noelle from Partner Centric, Mike from AffiliateManager.com, and Christina from DMI Partners. To kick off the session, I'll be giving you a snapshot of how we work closely with our agency partners at Awin and ShareASale, and then we'll provide you with a summary of the key events that have impacted the e-commerce landscape in 2020. This will then be followed by a prepared Q&A with our specialist panel, and we'll end with questions from our audience. The Q&A is already open, and you can actually submit questions throughout the webinar using the box on the right-hand side of your screen. However, if you'd like a response from a specific panel member, please just let us know. You'll also have the opportunity to upvote questions submitted by your fellow attendees. So I'll start with a brief overview of how we're working closely with our 50+ agency partners to ensure that we're supporting them in delivering against our clients' individual business goals as they drive performance across North America. Our teams proactively work with agencies to not only launch and optimize programs, but also collaborate to develop and implement successful strategies across multiple sectors for advertisers of various types and sizes. Through our unique approach, combining innovative tracking, partner development, and relevant data and insights, we can ensure a tailored solution for agencies of all sizes. Agency partners also benefit from open access to our extensive published directories within Awin and ShareASale platforms, while our technology makes unique and strategic partnerships both seamless and accessible. Outside of our user-friendly interfaces and the innovative technology that we're delivering, agencies are further supported by our dedicated client services teams. These teams are always on hand to assist with program benchmarking, health checks, tailored program recommendations, and unique value-added publisher opportunities, which are constantly evolving in the current space. On top of all of this, I'm really excited to share that Awin agency partners can also benefit from exclusive access to the newly launched Agency Resource Center. This private portal is already being utilized by some of our closest partners, offering ongoing education, certification, publisher discovery, case studies, and even more relevant insights and trends. With that being said, if you're not already utilizing the portal, I invite you to do so. You can apply for access on either awin.com or shareasale.com. And if you're interested, we would love the opportunity to support you with team demos and training to ensure that your agency is set up to take full advantage of both our platform and our resources. So now that we've taken a quick look at our US agency support, I'm briefly going to recap some of the major events that have impacted the e-commerce landscape this year before moving into the insights and trends provided by our panel. So perhaps the biggest event in North America and the world was the surge of COVID-19 in March 2020, along with the subsequent lockdown that ensued. During this time, there was a massive shift in how everyone worked and ultimately lived, with most of our lives shifting to be completely digital. On Awin and ShareASale, this was mirrored by the influx of sales and transactions that we tracked across our network as consumers were forced to move their spending habits online for both essential and non-essential goods. To put this uplift in online activity into perspective, performance during March was greater than what we saw for Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2019, a trend we continued to see throughout Q2 as the performance across the US realized double-digit growth quarter over quarter. Understanding these numbers were heavily influenced by general retail as the travel and entertainment sectors struggled amid the lockdown and travel restrictions. These numbers suggest that COVID not only accelerated e-commerce adoption, but the affiliate channel itself offered brands a safe place to invest during the pandemic. Moving into April, we then saw the announcement that Amazon would be making massive commission cuts to their affiliate program across multiple categories. This left a significant number of publishers looking for ways to replace existing revenue streams. In the US alone, we ended up seeing a 360% increase in publisher applications month over month from March to April, with the majority of those being content focused. Although a huge opportunity for our advertisers, we also realized that this presented a challenge for agencies and brands alike as they navigate an influx of new partnership opportunities and had to quickly develop strategies to onboard and activate those affiliates. Ultimately, we saw those efforts pay off as we've seen a 550% increase in editorial sales across the US programs. Following the Amazon changes, May saw two major events in the US. The first being the killing of George Floyd and the subsequent spotlight on Black Lives Matter movement. The second being a staggered and phased reopening of many states after national quarantine. Both have had dramatic impacts on the economy as consumers shifted from their typical purchasing habits and sought to spend their money supporting Black-owned business and purchasing with or donating to organizations that were driving and supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. We then saw the added push with spending across small businesses alongside a shift to in-store promotions in the hopes of supporting local in light of the new normal. But now that we've entered July, the US is experiencing what many individuals are saying is the second surge of the coronavirus, which is seeing many hesitant consumers in the US continuing their lockdown routines. But most importantly for today's discussion, they're continuing to rely on digital channels. So as we look to the remainder of 2020 and the major milestones that lie ahead, it will be interesting to see how this surge really impacts the timing of the new school year, the presidential election, peak shopping days across Q4, and whether another national lockdown is truly on the horizon. With that being said, before we dive into our Q&A portion to explore these insights and predictions from the perspective of our agency partners, please be reminded that you can continue to submit questions or upvote any from fellow attendees. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a really great panel for you guys offering experience and knowledge spanning a range of agencies and areas of expertise. Today, I'm joined by Sarah Bundy, who is founder and CEO of All Inclusive Marketing. All Inclusive Marketing was founded in 2009 to create an exceptional, all-inclusive digital marketing experience for their clients, focusing on thought leadership, higher performance, personal connection, and world-class experience. We also have Noelle Spagna, Senior Affiliate Manager at Partner-Centric. At Partner-Centric, Noelle connects her clients with partners who truly understand their businesses while leveraging decades of combined industry experience, forging relationships between ambitious marketers and carefully selected partners. We also have Mike Nunes, CEO of AffiliateManager.com. Founded in 2005, AffiliateManager.com, a subsidiary of Gen3 Marketing, is an affiliate management provider hyper-focused on driving incremental sales using attribution-based performance marketing. And last but by no means least, Christina Nolan, who is the VP of Affiliate Marketing at the US-based performance marketing agency DMI Partners. At DMI, Christina helps clients embrace e-commerce solutions and capitalize on the opportunities that affiliates can deliver. Okay, so now that we've listened to me, let's jump into our questions. I'm going to be starting with an easy question that I'll ask everybody. Noelle, if we can start with you, and then I'll come to Christina, Sarah, and then we'll finish with Mike. But Noelle, in your experience, what has been the impact of the pandemic on how your clients have been working with you? And do you feel their priorities have changed? And do you find they're spending more or less on digital marketing?
So I have clients that are a little bit on both sides of the spectrum. I would say some have pulled back a little bit while others have started to, put more budget towards the channel overall. Being, obviously a pay for performance model affiliate is very safe and more cost effective for brands who are really looking to grow their business in a really effective manner. So I would say the ones that have really put more budget into the channel really are seeing some really strong results overall. We're seeing some really great things with some of our finance partners. Even some of my retail partners are doing really well, especially shifting the way that they're doing promotional cadences. Even if it was a brand that wasn't traditionally promotional, but now they're seeing that they need to offer something to consumers who are looking to really save money. That's worked out really well for some of the brands who are just, trying to make sure consumers are still shopping while trying to also, meet their bottom line.
Yeah. And Christina, do you feel like you're seeing similar trends or?
Yeah, it's very similar. So it's been really all across the board for us. There's some clients that are growing their budgets. There's some clients that are shrinking their budgets. For some clients, some parts of their business have been growing dramatically, while other parts are shrinking. And because of that, we really need to be contributing more on a return on ad spend than we would be otherwise. Yeah, I think it's really been all over the place for us as well, just dependent on our clients, our goals, what their other revenue streams are, and things like that.
Awesome, thanks. And Sarah, do you mind providing some insights on kind of how you've seen the impact of the pandemic with the clients that you're working with?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've actually seen the majority of our clients moving a lot of their budgets over to performance marketing and affiliate marketing over some of the paid channels that they otherwise would have been investing in. They're noticing the cost of keeping up with those budgets in paid channels is increasing so much that it's difficult to compete. Whereas on the affiliate side, because it's a lot more controlled from a cost perspective and it's a lot lower risk, they're kind of doubling down in that particular category, which is really great. And as a result, we've actually been able to see a lot of double-digit and in a couple of cases, triple-digit growth for some of our clients. So for us, it's a bit more skewed. We are seeing a lot more people investing more in performance marketing, perhaps pausing some of their paid channels, but in most cases, either reducing a little bit and reallocating budget or holding strong and then just doubling down on the affiliate side.
Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people are kind of moving around those budgets. So Mike, do you feel like that's something that you're seeing as well?
Absolutely. And thank you for putting me last after these three smart, intelligent women that I have to follow. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a shift in budgets. We're fortunate in that we're positioned in the product-based space. And so there's been a tremendous demand and similar to my counterparts here, we've seen an incredible lift. We have a philosophy of optimize for constraints. In other words, their constraints may be the amount of inventory that they have, or their retail locations have been shut down for now, and so they're shifting their focus online. So we're optimizing for those constraints. And one example of that is some of our clients we've actually advised to step away from promotional, from having promotions and such. Because they're inventory limited. And so if they're inventory limited, it just makes sense to sell through that at a slower pace with a higher margin. And so we're seeing greater overall sales and greater profitability as well.
Great. And I guess while we still have you on the camera, Mike, as a network, we've kind of noticed a significant ramp up with, agency managed programs and even just new programs coming to the space. So do you believe that that is connected to the lockdown forcing retailers and companies, like you say, to shift their budgets online, or do you feel like that was a trend that was already occurring?
So I think proper affiliate management is difficult to find already. So I'm sure all of the panelists here are certainly seeing an influx, but I think the bigger reason is truly the only benefit of hiring an in-house person versus hiring an agency is that with an in-house person, you can walk down the hall into their office and have a conversation at any time. That's really the only benefit. With the shift to working from home, that benefit's no longer the case, and is understandably causing a shift to outsourcing because it's superior in so many other ways. Level of expertise, the size of the teams, the technology that people like us can bring, the redundancy, so you don't have all of your knowledge with one particular person, the established relationships, and more.
Great. And Sarah, just kind of going off of Mike's point there, so understanding that all-inclusive marketing is kind of looking after channels, not just affiliate, but all within the digital space. Do you feel like there are any advantages to, you know, running within the affiliate space versus other channels right now, or any kind of trends that you've seen there?
Yeah, so the majority of business that we manage is actually on the affiliate side. So we do have a department and a team who can manage the paid channels, paid search, paid social display, all of those, SEO. But I'd say still 90% of our clients are in the affiliate side of the business. So we manage a lot of affiliate marketing programs. And, you know, to Mike's point, I think the challenge is that the demand is so big, the market opportunity is so big, everybody is now starting to lean towards affiliate and partnerships and performance-based marketing, which is fantastic, but the pool of expertise is really quite limited. So for all of these new types of companies that are coming in, or for companies that maybe already had affiliate marketing programs and perhaps had somebody in-house who is managing them, they just don't have enough resources. They don't have the ability to actually find people who have that background and that expertise and that network. And to Mike's point, even the technologies that, an understanding of how the technologies integrate, or an investment into building out those technologies. Like, I can speak for ourselves, we've probably spent over $1 million over the last 10 years building out our operating systems just to be able to manage affiliate marketing programs successfully and effectively. So for a company to come in and be able to invest in just the tech side or the ops side or the team side, let alone trying to expand their network of partnerships, and then all the nuances associated with how different types of partnerships actually engage, is really, really difficult to find. So when you call an agency that specializes in that and has a team that has that expertise and those established tools and that established tech and all those established processes, then they're actually able to expedite their ability to scale this channel more effectively and in a lower risk manner. As well as more economically, frankly. So yeah, that's my take on that.
No, thank you. I think, like you mentioned, it's a lower barrier of entry for affiliates, so it definitely makes sense for newer brands within the space as well. Great. So I think, Christina, I'll come to you on this one, and then also ask the same question to Noelle. But in 2020, we've seen that the coronavirus pandemic has completely reshaped the spending and behavior of consumers around holidays such as, you know, just to date, Mother's Day, Father's Day, July 4th. And it's pushed advertisers and publishers to really rethink about how they're interacting with their customers. So what do you feel, you know, we've learned from this and can potentially apply any of those learnings to the marketing strategies as we head into Q4, understanding this is typically peak shopping periods for our partners?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for brands, I think it's so important to be creative about how consumers reach you online, and to make sure you're attacking the full conversion funnel. Consumers are doing more price comparison than ever before. They have more time to spend online searching for the best products and the best deals. So make sure you're reaching them in the research phase when they're typing in best computers, to the price comparison phase when they're looking at you against your competitors, and then to when they land on your site and are getting ready to pull the trigger. I would also say to get super creative about how you motivate your affiliates to work with you, especially as it relates to your brand's goals, and think through how to properly reward publishers for what you want. It could be new versus returning customers, or customers who used a coupon versus didn't use a coupon, pre-orders, and so on and so forth. But get creative with how you motivate affiliates to reach your goals. And then lastly, I'd say the biggest increases we've seen over the last couple of months came from like quick hit opportunities that are really happening on the fly with publisher partners. So just be nimble and be quick with how you act on those type of opportunities, because they could really be game changers for your brand.
Great. Thanks. And Noelle, do you feel like that's kind of the same approach that you guys have at Partner-Centric, or is there anything that you maybe kind of identified as a trend during H1 that you feel like you need to kind of prioritize as we head into Q3 and Q4?
Yeah, I agree with Christina, and I would say I think one of the biggest things moving into fall and the holiday season is going to be convenience. Shoppers are really going to want, you know, faster shipping, in-store pickup, strong promotions, easy to use checkout, and I think even more payment options like Afterpay and Affirm, just giving consumers a lot more options and convenience of shopping online, since there's a lot of uncertainty right now with in-store experiences. So I think making things a lot easier for consumers to shop online, I think that's kind of where Amazon kind of has that leg up with the one-click checkout and whatnot. So I think retailers we'll really need to think about how easy is it for consumers to check out and to shop, with them throughout the holiday season.
Yeah. Do you feel like this Q4 is going to be, bigger than last Q4? I mean, we're going to be seeing that Amazon Prime Day has moved into Q4 this year. Typically, it's, I believe, Q3. So do you feel like that will have, in terms of predictions, any kind of like significant ramp on activity?
I think e-commerce is definitely going to be bigger and growing this holiday season. And just based on trends we've seen over the past couple of months, I think for a lot of retail brands, they really have been growing. I think it could be due to, the stimulus packages and, the unemployment benefits. And, another one is planning to come out, within the next few months in the US. So I think those things will definitely impact spending and allow people to do a little bit more holiday shopping.
Yeah. And Mike, I'm just going to move back to you for this question, but I think as part of kind of this discussion for, what the rest of the year looks like, are there any new affiliate models or businesses that you're kind of most excited about right now?
Sure. Well, just really quick addressing that last question, I just wanted to make sure that I said that when we're talking about strategies for COVID and such, one of the things we're advising our clients on is be careful with your messaging there, and because obviously if any of us could snap our fingers and make the virus that shall not be named go away, we would, but we don't want to come across as we're trying to monetize the situation. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up for you guys. So overall, in terms of the new affiliate models, we're really excited about YouTube, which of course has been around for a very long time, but the YouTube's been making some pretty large investments in their platform and enabling both advertisers as well as the actual affiliates to leverage promotional opportunities within YouTube. We're employing what we're calling a quote unquote flanking technique, where basically having influencers and affiliates talk about a product or a service, and then working with the advertiser to put some funds behind actually promoting that video to expand the reach. So that's one of the things we're most excited about for this year.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And in terms of like any challenges that you've kind of experienced with that platform, is there kind of anything that you would caution against? Or obviously, I think utilizing social media channels is obviously a huge trend right now.
Sure. So we use so we manage paid search campaigns. Actually, half of our business is managing paid search campaigns as well. And so on YouTube in particular, one of the things you have to look at, be careful of, is YouTube TV is actually able to get a very wide reach, but the actionability of YouTube TV is obviously much less than YouTube proper, youtube.com. So that's one thing I would say is be very careful of. And then leverage the targeting that YouTube provides, really narrow it down. And we're seeing interaction rates, whereas on Google proper, you might have to pay $1 plus per click or way more. Interaction rates on YouTube could be as low as 5 cents.
And I guess we have a lot of audience questions coming in, so we'll probably slowly move over to those just to make sure we kind of keep our discussions as relevant as possible. But before we do that, were there any kind of thoughts from any other panelists around any specific models that you are excited about or potential businesses to share?
I think one thing that we've seen a spike in is brands leveraging each other as affiliates. We had a major formula company reach out about one of our mom and baby brands and looking to promote them via their newsletter subscribers. And we did something very similar with a meal subscription company with one of our clients that's really like an online butcher shop. So I think we'll continue to see brands leverage each other as affiliates, which is really nothing new in the space. But I think it was something that the affiliate space had a very difficult time with in the beginning because teams were so siloed, but we're starting to see teams kind of break down walls and be able to work on this stuff a lot quicker than before. So I'm excited for the continued expansion in that area.
Yeah, I'll actually just add in one more too, because Noelle had actually mentioned Affirm. That there's a surge right now in buy now, pay later types of partnerships, and that's been reported actually by a few different not just ourselves, but just a few different sources, because what we're finding is that millennials and Gen Z specifically they want to have more flexible payment options and preferably not have to use credit to make purchases, so not having to use a credit card. So these new buy now, pay later partnerships like Affirm are providing opportunities for people to do that with basically no interest attached. It's very little risk for them. And what we're finding is that not only is the frequency of purchase increasing, but the AOVs are increasing, the conversion rates are increasing, the lifetime values in some cases are increasing because they can sustain and delay the way that they have to pay and not go into debt over it as well. So there's a few new guys, a few fintech companies that are now getting into the space, and I'm looking forward to seeing those continue to grow this year.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the exact same thing from the network side as well. Like fintech is definitely a new publisher type that is a top focus. Great. Well, I guess just kind of moving into some of our attendee questions. And I guess I'll throw this out to the wider panel, but we did briefly touch on this. How have client affiliate budgets been impacted in comparison to other channels recently? So I think maybe Mike, you had some, was it comments on this earlier?
Sure. So here's the beauty of affiliate marketing is as long as the spirit of the program is to reward value, then you're only paying when a sale gets made. The difference there, and I think it was Christina that was mentioning the funnel a little bit earlier, is just depending on where in the funnel that you are, you want to make sure you're paying appropriately to the upper funnel, mid funnel, lower funnel. And one of the things that we encourage our clients to do, and I promise I'll circle back to the actual question in here in a second, but one of the things that we encourage our clients to do is, pay more for that upper funnel commission, pay a mid-range for the middle funnel and the lower funnel. And you have to make sure even the mid and the low funnel are strong because they make your upper funnel more efficient overall. So if you have that appropriately set up, then, and you have your affiliate program, which is only paying for sales, then it's an unlimited budget at that point because it's being funded by the sales that are occurring for it. So because of that, and because of the increase in overall e-com sales that we're seeing, we've seen budgets more than double.
Did anybody else within the panel have a different view or anything else to add here before we move on to a somewhat related question, actually?
I think the one other interesting thing about the affiliate channel is like the diverse partner mix too. Like you can have search affiliates, you can have technology affiliates, you can have social affiliates. So I think as it relates to other channels, we've actually seen advertisers cut back on search budgets, but leverage the affiliate channel to get some search volume. So I think as it relates to other channels, it's interesting that affiliate is really cross-channel and has so many unique affiliate partners that have strategies to get to whatever end goal that a lot of the other channels also have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I this next question, I think I'll probably direct to you, Noelle, but how have you been responding to clients who are looking to close their affiliate program due to cost concerns? Is this something that Partner Centric or other agencies are dealing with actively?
Yeah, so we've really been, focusing on efficiency with our clients, and a more granular commissioning and attribution strategy, coming out with more tools for clients to be able to help them with, the financial impact of COVID that they're probably going to be feeling for some time. So you know, as marketers with a really efficient channel, it's like we have to make this efficient channel even more efficient moving forward. And, you know, being able to experiment with more granular commissioning and experimenting on attribution models beyond the last click model, giving that control over the budget and the payout to the advertiser has been really important, you know, and we've been seeing that with our clients that, you know, they really want more control to be able to determine where they pay out and who they pay out and what they're paying out on in terms of different products and SKUs and customer types.
Yeah, and you kind of touched there on, you know, creating efficiencies with commissions and looking at kind of cost saving. Are there, you know, any publisher types that you feel have kind of lost out with these types of discussions, or in general, does it really depend on the vertical or the advertiser?
Yeah, I do think it depends on the vertical and the advertiser. I think a lot of publishers have seen, you know, a lot of the major brands cut their commissions completely. So I think there's been more flexibility on the publisher side with advertisers who might need to pull back in certain areas, especially if it's like sale items or clearance items and they want to commission less. You know, we're seeing more of that. And I think the partners are more understanding just based on what's going on in the space.
Great, thank you. And Sarah, there appears to be someone who really wants your autograph, so I'll direct this question to you. But related to the impact of the COVID pandemic, as an agency, are you being approached by clients in non-traditional categories for the industry, or new verticals that you feel like you wouldn't have seen before?
Yes, and I'll say thank you to whoever that is on the other line. Nice to see you. We'll chat after. I find that there's actually been a surge for us in the B2B side of the space. So a lot of lead gen programs, a lot of SaaS and technology companies that we otherwise wouldn't have expected to come our way have been approaching us. And really it's just because everybody has to go remote right now that businesses are looking to actually service other businesses and help them in that transition from in office to remote and online. So we've actually just recently closed the largest known, which I won't say right now, largest known company in the top 10 largest companies in the world has just recently signed with us. And they're focused on helping millions of SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses, be able to create some operational efficiencies in a remote work environment. So it's been a lot more pieces like that. Obviously, travel and hospitality, which is one of our vertical expertise, has been a little bit stagnated because of people's inability to travel right now. So that's not surprising, but what was surprising for us was this big surge in lead gen B2B types of companies that are coming our way, specifically in the SaaS side.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, was there someone who was, am I cutting anyone off? I was just going to say, you mentioned travel there, which kind of leads into another question from the audience here, but do you have any thoughts for travel sites and how to best plan for a fluid future?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a little bit of a tricky question because we don't know when people will be able to travel again. Obviously, there's health concerns, and with the conversation earlier of a potential second surge of COVID, you know, if people are going to go back into quarantine and containment, we need to be really cautious of how do we encourage and promote the travel side of the space. What I can say is that I have a couple thoughts. One is to continue to stay engaged in the community. So groups like Travel Massive, so if you're in the travel space and you're a travel blogger or you're a travel influencer, you're probably really engaged in the Travel Massive community. They're doing all kinds of stuff together to support each other, educate each other, create some online webinars and tutorials and videos of things that are happening in the industry specific to travel and hospitality. So get engaged in that group because it's a very connected and very supportive and very engaged and vibrant group that can help support that travel space. And there are still brands and advertisers that are investing in groups like that because it is community development, it's loyalty, it's brand ambassadors, it's exposure, and those types of things. So that's option one. The other side of it is we are seeing obviously a huge surge of local travel. So people who are actually traveling in their own little neighborhoods, maybe they're being a tourist in their own town. In Canada, there's a lot of people who are actually traveling across Canada because they can't fly internationally as easily. So there are still travel opportunities where you can focus more locally. Maybe it's local experiences. Maybe it's focused in the outdoor space, so keeping social distancing part of the consideration. There are products that are going to be able to help with that, picnic in your own town kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say focus local, keep it safe. There are still domestic flights that are taking place in some countries, so that could be an option. And depending on where people stay, we are actually noticing still bookings in hotels, especially that have kitchens. We work with Extended Stay America. They've been doing extremely well supporting people through COVID because they have the ability to host people on a longer extended stay. So thinking about how do we help people to travel safely in more local environments, and perhaps knowing that they're not going to be transitioning every 3 days, they might stay somewhere for a good week or two. So what can we focus on to help them be comfortable in that type of an environment? And also knowing that they're probably going to be traveling with kids or their family. RV bookings are up. People are just renting RVs and kind of going to local lakes and within 4 hours of each other. So things like that. So focus locally, focus on what can be done outside and in a safe distance, and get involved in the travel community groups such as Travel Massive. And then, we'll continue to work our way towards the other side of COVID when the world is ready for that.
Yeah, great suggestions. And I think along these lines, kind of keeping the focus on publishers, we have a question, which maybe I'll direct to you, Christina. There's been an increased focus from publishers on tenancy requirements. How are you navigating this with advertisers when the advertisers' focus is to have more control over their budgets and performance?
Oops, sorry, I was about to just chat away mute there. I think it really depends on the advertiser and their related goals. So I think as an agency, our role is to figure out kind of what budgets they have allotted to the channel and across channels, and figure out where affiliate fits into the mix. So I'd say from a budgeting perspective, that is typically what we advise, and we take a look at the budgets that they have allotted over their different categories and figure out how affiliate fits into the mix there.
Do you feel like there's been less of have brands kind of pulled back from investing in tenancies and then more just focused on kind of running their programs as it is in terms of like commission spends, or do you really think it just depends on the opportunity?
I think it depends on the opportunity and the vertical, and also like what their return is on different channels. So it's relating back to what I said before. I think it's a mix between what the advertisers are experiencing on their ends and how they're handling the payout structures, commissions, and nuances of the channel.
Great. And Mike, this isn't a request for an autograph, but someone does want to ask you around the brand messaging statement during COVID. What suggestions do you have for clients when it comes to maintaining a consistent voice throughout their publisher base and communication?
Yeah, I never get asked for my autograph, but I do want Sarah's as well. So if you can add me to the list. In terms of the recommendations for brands and how they can communicate guidelines to your affiliate base. You have there in your newsletters, have webinars, but explain your stance and your recommendations from that. And it could be, for example, one of the things that we've advised our clients and thus are telling our affiliates, there's a third new tenet in online marketing these days. It used to just be price and convenience, right? Those were the two things that really made a difference. And now safety has entered the mix because of coronavirus. So going back to the travel question from before, like start focusing on that part of it as well, the entire safety aspect of travel and how you're being more safe, or if you're an affiliate, talking about how you can be more safe while traveling and things like that. So that's what I would say in terms of communicating that with affiliates. Basically have guidelines. The great thing about affiliate marketing is that these affiliates are able to say it in their own voice. So you certainly don't want to take that away, but you want to be able to communicate how you want yourself as the advertiser to be positioned, and maybe just bulleted guidelines from there is what it would take.
Great. And I think we'll just take one last question from the audience. Noel, I would like to ask you this just based off of your comments earlier, but are you seeing a push from the publisher side to move away from a pure performance model to hybrid models? And if so, what do those look like?
It depends on the publisher. I think a lot of, content editorial partners are always more towards those flat fees or even hybrid options. But we have seen publishers being a little bit more flexible. Beforehand, they may have only offered a higher flat fee rate, but now they're willing to bring that down a little and throw in the commission instead of just, that higher rate, as they know that a lot of advertisers really can't support those higher flat fees right now. So there's definitely been more flexibility and more negotiation, I think, during this than there previously was. Great.
And I actually realized we do still have 15 more minutes, so we can continue on from these audience questions. So I'll kind of throw this out to the wider panel, but how has your pitch changed to prospective brands, and where have your focuses shifted mostly in new brands? If anyone would like to volunteer themselves.
Yeah, I can go. I think really like what I mentioned earlier about efficiencies, really providing clients with the right tools to be able to make their programs as efficient as possible. We're really pushing tools that help with attribution, with better commissioning strategies, just in order to make it more efficient, and again, just match their budgets and make sure they're not spending on anything that isn't beneficial to the program. So really honing in on anything that makes the clients' lives easier.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Rachel.
Yeah.
Can I go back to the hybrid model question really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. So I just wanted to point out that there's two sides of commissions and structures and how it works. There's obviously the attribution aspect of it, how much credit should they get, who should get credit, how you're dividing that up. That's the first part. And then the second part is how much you're actually paying for that, like the return on ad spend for that. And so typically the simplest way to describe this is, upper, middle, lower funnel. Upper funnel, regardless of what channel it is, gets this much percentage. Mid funnel gets this much percentage lower, and lower funnel gets an even lower percentage overall. So that's how you structure that up front, and then on the back end, now that all flows evenly. And then to talk about the hybrid aspect of it, it's all ROAS based, especially for a company like us that manages multiple marketing channels across the board. We look for the next best place to spend the dollar. And so if it's on paid search, we're going to go spend it in paid search. If it's pure play affiliate, we're going to go do that. If it's a hybrid model for a particular affiliate, that's what we're going to go spend the money on. So it becomes very clear how you should spend those dollars and whether you should do hybrid type models or where you should spend that next dollar once you have the attribution set up appropriately, and the rest will then flow from there.
Thank you for going back to that. I think that was really insightful for our attendees. And I think kind of on moving back to more of a prediction focus, I'd really like to ask everyone kind of just to close out the Q&A. And Mike, we'll start with you because didn't want to put everyone first like last time. How do you see the affiliate channel evolving in the next 12 to 18 months? And where do you think we'll see new revenue streams from partners? And if there's any other predictions you'd like to share with us today.
Sure. So I would say, and there was a new question that just came in that I saw that actually goes along with your question, which is ITP and how that's going to affect overall affiliate marketing and conversion tracking. this is an issue for everybody to be concerned with. I know us in particular, we have technology that resides on our advertisers' sites to help with that. I know Awin has the master tag that's helping to make tracking more accurate across the board. There's always going to be a way to track, whether it be going back to the old school days of a literal hard-coded pixel on every page of the website, or whatever it turns out to be. There's going to be something there. Today, it's interesting, there are other solutions in place. Some people are taking the clicks from ITP that are coming from Safari or Apple that are untrackable, and actually giving the expected commissions from those clicks and so on. So again, there's multiple ways that you can actually handle that are being handled today, and everybody is working on that. So I do think that that's going to be a major prediction for the next 12 months. We're going to continue to see a quote unquote fight against first-party cookies. I never thought that we would have to see first-party cookies pared down to a single day, and those who can handle that the best will become winners from it.
And Christina, maybe we'll move on to you to kind of share with us how you see the affiliate channel evolving these next 12 to 18 months, and any predictions that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that's bound to happen is there's going to be a lot of non-traditional partners entering the space, and a lot of new affiliates pop up. We saw when Amazon cut their commission rates, a lot of those unique publishers turned to networks like Awin to sign up and promote different types of brands. We talked about brands acting as publishers and unique technology partners. I think a lot more of that is going to happen as companies are going to be looking to expand their revenue sources. And I think a lot of them are going to explore being publishers where it makes sense. So I think we're bound to see a lot of new partners enter the affiliate space from a publisher perspective.
Great. And Sarah, we'll move on to you with the same question.
Yeah, I'll actually second that. I anticipate a lot of new types of partners coming into the space, and we talked a little bit about video commerce. So video, there's going to be a more common use of video to create content, which actually is going to help encourage social commerce. And I think we're also going to be able to see continued surge in content commerce in general. So there's the editorial side, working with more mass media partners. I think there's going to be more of them coming in, and I think as they become more mature in their understanding of the affiliate marketing strategy to monetize their own platforms and their own content sites, they're just going to get better at it, where we're going to see increased revenue from those particular types of partners. But from a audience perspective, I think something that is worth calling out is, due to COVID, I predict that there's going to be a new group of online buyers, which is the baby boomers, because pre-COVID, their preferred shopping method was by phone or in person. They liked going to stores, and because of COVID, they were actually forced to start to buy their needs online. Now that they're there and they're getting used to buying online, I think they're finding a convenience and an ease of being able to do this quickly and easily, and have it be with the amazing selection that's available online, and then have it safely delivered to them straight to their doors. So I think we're going to continue to see increase in spend and the number of purchases that are happening online by a more senior demographic, which otherwise may not have been there pre-COVID. And I think that's going to continue in the next 12 to 18 months.
And Noelle, last but not least, if you don't mind sharing your predictions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more focus on targeting and customization, affiliate partners who can properly use the right data to target the right consumers with an offer that really matches them. It's going to create a lot of more opportunities in the future, as long as they, continue to deliver lasting value at an efficient scale. And then I would say the need for more control in the form of robust compliance solutions, focus on efficiency, and there's going to be, a need for more tighter compliance to mitigate the risk of any ad fraud as more people are shopping online. So There'll be a lot of unknowns, obviously, within the next year, and I think the channel will feel that as well. But you know, it's our job to come up with these solutions and to help these businesses excel despite any of the challenges that may pop up.
Awesome. Is there any kind of, just before we wrap everything up, any kind of final thoughts or comments from either earlier questions that you didn't have the chance to speak to, or forever hold your peace? Great.
Well, wait, Sarah, what was the way that we need to end the speech?
Oh, yes, Dr. Bonnie Henry, the health minister for British Columbia. I think she ends every speech, and please forgive me if I get the order of this incorrectly, but she usually ends with, be kind, stay safe, be kind, be well, stay safe. For everybody out there during this time, be kind, stay well, stay safe.
Perfect. Great. So I think as we wrap up today, thank you all again for joining and for submitting some really great questions for our panel discussion. A very special thank you to our panelists, Sarah from AIM, Noelle from Partner Centric, Mike from AffiliateManager.com, and Christina from DMI Partners. For more trends and insights, please be sure to check out our Awin and ShareASale websites, including our coronavirus hubs, which will offer more information, advice, and sector-level reporting, as well as a recording of this webinar and previous webinars we've hosted over the last few months, those that have been focused on retail, travel, and fashion. Should you want more information about the Awin and ShareASale Agency Resource Center, or simply just to get in contact with our agency teams, please feel free to email us at us-agencysupport@awin.com, and we'd be more than happy to get you connected. And then finally, be sure to keep an eye out for information around 2 special Awin Group webinars that we'll be hosting in August. One that examines the strategic tech partnership opportunities available via the Awin Master Tag plugin, and then the second webinar that examines Q4 trends and predictions across our 15 markets globally. If you have any additional questions, or if we didn't get to respond to your questions today, please feel free to reach out to me directly via my Awin email, which is now on your screen. I'd also be more than happy to put you in touch with any of today's panelists. But thank you again, and I really hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week.